What if I told you 500,000, that's USDA, dollars is the average home price for a home in Colorado Springs? Would you want to talk about it? I said, would you want to talk about it? Colorado Springs, it's 500,000 for the median home price. Now, this is something we can truly yap about. What does it mean to have your median home price be $500,000? Let's start with the good news. The good news is if you've already bought a house, you made a bunch of money. The good news, if you're going to buy a house, that means that homes in Colorado Springs are still heavily appreciating, which means that there's money to be made. So it's a perspective on how you want to look at it. Obviously, let's just be really real. $500,000 is not cheap. And it is not a threshold that everybody and the average person can attain to, or is that the right word? To strive towards. 500,000 is very expensive, but Colorado as a whole has become very expensive. Like over the last 5, 6, 7 years, like there's people who are native to Colorado who kind of have seen their final days of being able to afford the market leave. And that's unfortunate for a lot of different situations. So that's part of why I'm doing these lives and why I'm doing these videos, is because the education bridges the gap. The education is how you get yourself into a home that you thought you couldn't get into. And not talking about like, oh, I thought I couldn't afford it, but we stretched it, we found a way to afford it. No, that's not what I'm talking about. You never buy a house you can barely or can't afford. That is the worst advice. And if you have a realtor who's taking you on showings right now, who is pushing the little bit more expensive house, even if it has the kitchen that you want and has the layout and living room that you want, if they are pushing you getting a home that's expensive, that's a little more out of your range, and you keep telling them like, hey, I really don't want to spend that kind of money on my house, and they're like, but look at the kitchen, blah, blah, blah. Give me a call. You can fire them. And the reason I'm saying that cutthroatly is because I've been fired. Not for that reason. I've been fired. It's the name of the game. It's the name of the game. I've been fired because they wanted to use a family friend realtor, and I was like, I can't compete with that, even though I've already showed you a couple of houses. I guess you're free to go. So, in the nature of my get back, go ahead and get rid of your realtor and call me. But don't tell them I said that. Just say that you made an executive decision by this YouTube personality that you really, really like, and it gave you a lot of good information, and that's what it is. So, when we're dealing with this situation, home prices at $500,000 in Colorado Springs, that is a psychological shift in the market. What that means is now when buyers look at Colorado Springs, the whole psychology of what they're looking for changes. And this is for a fact, because when I was first like doing a lot of Colorado Springs work, Colorado Springs is like a steal. It was like, oh man, these are the up and coming houses. You know, it's not as far as Pueblo. It's next to military bases. There's a lot of shopping centers, and an amphitheater was going to be built out there. And I believe that they were trying to get some huge theaters and stuff out there before. And then home prices were still like $250 and $200. You can get a single family home for like $250, which Denver hasn't seen that in 15 years. So Colorado Springs is a steal. But now that the average home is $500,000, it's more like, okay, well, we tapped the gold market, and now things are expensive, right? So basically, when a market crosses that kind of threshold, it changes how people think. First-time homebuyers start to feel priced out. Sellers think that they've reached luxury status. This is a key. Focus on that. And investors see it as a sign the market is maturing. But here is like the real caveat of that. Colorado Springs is still short between 10,000 and 21,000 homes, so that kind of structural housing shortage keeps long-term pressure on prices. Long-term pressure on prices. Even if the market cools down short-term, we're not headed for a crash, and everybody's waiting for a crash. I've been hearing about a crash for 15 years. When I was in high school, I was hearing about a market crash. In 2008, when I was in high school, the first year, it did crash. And since then, every year, people are like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and wait again for like the next crash. Like, I'm pretty sure it's coming soon. Like, so I'm gonna save some money. And then when the market crashes, I'll go ahead and get the house I've always wanted. And if you had did that, all those years back, you probably were saving $100,000, saving $200,000 to buy a house at $300,000. That was a 8-bedroom, 6-bath, 3-acre home. If you were trying to buy that same house today, you're in the millions. That's part of the nature of waiting for real estate. You think that your real estate agent is telling you that today's a good day to buy because they want to cash a check today. That's not true. A good day to buy is today because tomorrow is worse for you all the time. The only time it wasn't worse was during a crash. In the ways that we led up to a crash in the housing market is no longer the same situation that we're in. We are not in the same type of situation that's going to lead to a crash. And all the experts, not that I really care what all the experts are saying, in my personal research, understanding why it crashed, we're not leading towards the same thing. So keep that in mind. You do with that information as you please. Yeah, she liked it.